Hello there, and then welcome to Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In this video, we are looking at how to read and then write decimal fractions. And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to read decimal numbers correctly and then also write them in words as well. So without much ado, let's quickly go into it. So, how do we read a decimal? Now, you have to take note that for decimals, as we said in our previous lesson, there are two parts, the whole number part and then the fraction part. You see, so you read the whole number part as a normal number. That is what the first step is saying over here. Let's read the whole number part as a normal number. Then the most important part is the fraction. So after saying point for the decimal point, you'd do what? You'd mention each individual number that comes after the decimal. You get it? So let's look at what that means over here. So as an example, let's take this. So this here is then read as 3.4. You see, 3.4. You read it as 3.4, as you see written clearly over here. Let's take another example and see. What of this over here? What's it going to be? So as I said, and we have two digits over here in the whole number section. So as I said, we would name this first, and that is 15. So this becomes 15.08. 15.08. Written nicely as you see. So with this, you realize that writing or reading out decimal is very, very easy. You see, it is very, very easy. And so let's look at this last one here. So there is 257 point, right? All of this. So we would mention this as a normal number, right? And that is 257. 257. So it becomes 257.7434. As simple as that. 257.7434. So basically, that is how we read decimals. Now, when it comes to algebra, sometimes decimals are what? Written for you to convert into their numerical figures. You get it? And before we'll be able to do that, let's quickly look at a review of the place value system in decimals. Now, using this number, that is 226.483 as an example. You remember in our previous video, we said that what this whole number, the first numbers or the set of numbers that come before the decimal point is the whole number. And the one that comes after the decimal point is the fraction part, you see. So the whole number aspect, it simply means we have two of the tens. You know, we have ones, then followed by tens, hundreds, and then in that order. So there are two of the tens, but then for ones, we have 6 ones. Then our decimal point comes in, followed by 4 tenths. Remember we said for the decimal part or the fraction aspect, we have tenth, that is 10 with a th. Then we have hundredth, 100 with a th. Then thousandth, 1,000 with a th. Then it goes on and on. So thousand, then you go to tens of thousand, then hundreds of thousand, then it continues on and on. But take note, we don't have one for the decimals. We don't have one. Hence, we have what? 4 tenths, followed by 800th. That is 100 with a th. Then you put s attached to it. Then we have 3,000. That is also 1,000, but then with a th, then we end it with an s. This is the place value system in what? Decimals. And that is going to help us write out what? Decimals from words. With that said, let's look at how we can write the decimals from the words. So let's take our first one. Our first one here says 4 and 6 tenths. 4 and 6 tenths. you always need to take you always need to pay attention to the two parts, you see. So you have the whole number part, you see, and the fraction part. The end will just be a decimal, you see. So the 4, you write 4 just as it is 4, then you say end. Now it is saying there are 6/10, 6/10, and we know for the 10th, that is from the place value system of decimal, the 10th represents this side. So it means there's only going to be what, one digit at the fraction part, and that is what, 6. So 0.6, 4.6, as simple as that. Let's look out for more to see if we would understand it better. So for this one here, it says 7 and 25 hundredths. 7 and 25 hundredths. So what we are going to do is you write your 7. You see, this end would be so you have 7 whole number. And how many of the fraction parts do you have? 25 hundredths. You see, so the 100th here is telling us that you have 2 digits at the decimal place. You see, the fraction aspect, that is the digits that come after the decimal point. So that is 25. You see, that is 25 hundredths. But you remember from the previous one we did, if we were just to read this one, they would have said 7.25. 7.25. You see, but another way we could have read it is 7 and 25 hundredths. You see, but you don't say 7.25. No. You see, so it's either 7.25 or 7 and 25 hundredths. You get it? Let's solve 2 more examples to establish our understanding. So this here says 2 and 308 thousandths. So we have a 2 as a whole number. Then all of this is going to be for our the fraction part. You get it? So if you're able to distinguish which one is the whole number and which is the fraction part, you are good to go. So you quickly say there is a 2, you see, and this allows us to bring a decimal point. 308. So 308. There's 308 here. Thousandth. This most importantly tells us that it's going to be the fraction part. You see, so 2 and 308 thousandth. You get it? That is it. So this is how we are able to write the decimals from words. Hence, we have our last one here, which is 32 and 56 hundredths. 32 and 56 hundredths. If you have understood all this that we've done, you can pause at this moment. Write this here in the comment section. So it says 32 and what? 56 hundredths. So I'll write that as 32. So this is my 32, which would be the whole number part. Then, and how many hundredths? This 100th here is telling us that there's going to be what? Just 2 digits at the fraction part. You see? So 5, 6. And hence we can read it as well, 32 and 56 hundredths, or 32.56. You see, 32.56. That is if you don't want to bring the place value system. But if you want to bring the place value system, then you are going to say what? 32 and 56 hundredths. So that's how far this video is going to go. And I'm going to read or put out some exercises for you to try. So this is your try work, which says write the decimal form of the following. That is the first one. You have them in words and you would want to write them as what? Decimals. Then the second one, we have write them in words. You see, so you write these ones in words. Then finally, what is the place value of the underlying digits? I do hope this video was helpful to you in your studies. If there's any issue of concern, you can always let me know at the comment section and then I'll address that when I see. Stay blessed and then happy learning. Bye.